I see a countdown.
Yeah, there's a countdown. So here we are. My streaming window tells me the connection isn't very good, but well, we will see. And I can hear you. You can hear me. I think this is the best, the most important part. And I welcome everybody to I think it's the 8th episode of Humans and Robots. And I'm very happy that we made this happen. We've been talking about this for quite a while now. And yeah, I had like free time today, and you had. So welcome to Sandler Bay Reviews, Kato from Kato's Toy Box.
Thank you very much. I am really glad to finally be able to do this. You and I have talked for a long time now, and we've just never really gotten the chance to do this. And now we do. And
yeah, it's nice.
I've got the chat up on my phone so I can see what's going on too. So we're good.
Yeah, I've got this. I do the same here, like using my secondary account and not using my. As you can see, I'm in a hotel room. I'm not at home. I'm not sitting in front of my own collection, which is always a bummer. But yeah, so the Wi-Fi is maybe a little tricky. So I try to keep all the devices off the Wi-Fi that I can. Yeah, so I already explained to you what Humans and Robots is about. Maybe as you try to pull over some of your viewers to this session right here, I will try to explain it again, because like in Germany, when you are a collector in Germany, you always have the feeling like you are alone out there, like the only one, not only in this country, but like completely isolated. And this whole concept of Humans and Robots started just to bring the German fandom closer together in itself, but also bring it closer together to the rest of the world. This is why I like to invite international guests like you. And yeah, so we will just try to get to know you a little better. Maybe people will, I hope so, will jump over to your channel, leave you a subscription, but we will get to that in the end. And we always start with like what I call the 5-minute shameless plugs segment. So just tell us who you are, what you do, and maybe why you do it.
Well, I'm Kato. My channel is Kato's Toy Box Reviews. I mostly review Transformers, but I also do a couple of other shows similar to this where I interview other fans and collectors. Then there's a show I do where I talk about just animation with a fella from the UK, Rudy Zizu, who is awesome. A buddy of mine.
That's the animation
conversation where we just talk about cartoons. Another show where I just talk about anything called Time Out. We just talk about whatever the heck we want. We did 80s music or 80s hair metal the other day with Deluxe Baldwin. Pretty much I'll do anything that gives me a chance to talk to somebody, especially something that makes me feel nostalgic, but mostly Transformers related reviews and other toys. That's about it. And why I do it? Well, I lost my job last year. A hurricane hit and came back from evacuating, and they had closed the place down.
Damn.
And I said, I did what anybody in that situation would do. I went out and bought a bunch of toys and started reviewing them on YouTube because I had been, I got fed up working for somebody else. So I said, I'm going to do something fun for a while. And then if something else comes up, I'll do that to make a living. And everything worked out. So
very nice. Always nice. I think this should be the master plan for everybody who loses their job. Just go out there, buy toys, start a YouTube channel. But maybe don't Transformers. We don't need that. Maybe there's so many other channels out there.
There's a lot.
Is it just me, or I have the feeling like reviewing Transformers is especially common on YouTube? Like you don't find so many reviews on other figures, at least not that intense manner. I don't know why that is. You got any idea? Well, why went you after Transformers? Let's maybe take it this way.
For me, I mean, there's a lot of folks out there doing action figures and things like that. But for me, there's something super nostalgic about Transformers. One, I love the 80s. I love the toys that came out of the 80s. I love the properties that came out of the 80s. And most of them kind of not died off, but it's harder to get a hold of some of them, where Transformers being alive and going with the movies and with the animated series and the Siege toy line kind of picked them up a little bit as well. I think it's one of the easier nostalgic brands to kind of get into because it's
Good
readily
point.
available,
True.
and it made such an impression on most of us as kids, right? I mean, you've got your He-Mans, GI Joes, and things like that, but Transformers I mean, that's pretty hardcore of a grab on, a 10-year-old kid to see a race car turning to a giant robot and fight. I just think that's genius.
It is. And the interesting thing is watching the G1 cartoon as of today, like I'm watching this and I think like it's kind of silly. Or let's say maybe not silly, but it's pretty simple from the whole story and everything. But the one thing that Transformers managed to do, which other brands did not do, it went on and on, and it got this reboot through the Michael Bay movies. You can think about these movies what you want, but they gave a second wind to the franchise.
That's
Definitely. So I mean, with all, especially us collectors, I mean, I think from what I saw on your channel, you're also more after the G1 aesthetics and not really like into the Bay stuff.
correct.
And but I think we owe it to the Bay movies that all of this stuff just got back into the spotlight. And I'm pretty sure that there are a lot of figures we would not have to as of today if it wasn't for the Bay movies just recreating the interest in Transformers.
That's right. I just did a recent show with a guy, One Shall Stand, 1986, and to him, his G1 was the Bayverse.
Yes.
Without that, he would have gotten into something else. He had the passion to do something, to get into something, but the Bayverse kicked that off for him. And no matter how I feel about the movies, right? And I don't mind the movies. I don't hate them. I don't hate the toys. It just doesn't hold a memory for me the way G1 does.
Yeah.
You can't deny that it's a business. And if this business had not been kept alive and made money based on the Bayverse, the G1 guys, we would still be finding old figures to collect. They wouldn't have the money to invest in this brand. And, it's the same way with the Cyberverse cartoon aimed at a more kid-friendly audience. Without that, that's going to be someone's G1. 18, 19,
Yes.
30 years from now, Cyberverse is going to be those figures that these kids go, oh man, I remember watching that as a kid and I love that. And, maybe we'll get masterpiece Cyberverse figures one day. We never know, but I respect the fact that the brand is out there, and it wouldn't be without the things that not you, but in general, some folks don't like. And because of that, they're willing to invest in stuff for collectors, the masterpiece line and even the money they put into Siege.
Yes. You brought up a very interesting point. I mean, to us, the Transformers are like childhood memories, and now we get all these super articulated, very well designed masterpiece-like figures of characters we loved as kids. I have a son that is 4-year-old now, and I watch Transformers with him. He likes Transformers, but he also has his own series that he watches, like the Paw Patrol or whatever. And I'm actually asking myself, will there be a moment in like 15 to 20 years when he sits there like, I need a masterpiece Paw Patrol figure? Like,
yeah, or some crazy Paw Patrol reboot that or something that's going to say, oh man, I remember being a kid sitting in front of the TV or the laptop watching these.
yeah.
Oh, I've got to get something that reminds me of that. And that's what it's about, whatever it is. I mean, generations before us, my grandfather collected toy trains. He
Yes.
loved
Nice.
toy train sets and very nice train sets, but to him, it reminded him of being a kid and being around the train yard and everything like that. So
Your cat is super loud in the background. It's like we got Mr. Tim K in the chat. I think he can relate to ever talking cats. I've been
shut up.
I've been at his place like a few weeks ago, and she's been talking all the time.
I apologize.
It's all cool. It's all cool. I'm not at home, so I feel a little bit more comfortable with a cat meowing in the background.
Creep. I will make her stop shortly. Yeah.
It's nice. So let's talk a little bit about collecting itself, about your collection. We already got that you collect Transformers. What exactly do you collect? Is there anything else besides Transformers that you collect? Maybe.
Yeah, I do other nostalgic things. Like I'll pick up the random Mutant Ninja Turtle figure, or today I got an awesome Mask, the Rhino from Mask, from Ninja Bill 1000, and I've collected a few of those, and pretty much anything that will remind me of being a kid.
You got a Rhino.
Uh,
I couldn't watch the stream video because I
yeah, this
was
guy.
preparing.
Yeah.
Oh, gorgeous!
It's
gorgeous.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. You just needs a bath, and it's in great shape.
Oh, Ninja Bill is in the chat. So at this point, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who dropped me a subscription just because Kato told you to. No, it's very appreciated. I'm not sure. This is the big problem with. I do my channel in German because I think there are enough English-speaking people out there, and I wanted to do something for. Kato's gone. Where's Kato gone? So the big question is am I gone or is Kato gone? Like, like you people can hey, live chat. Can you give me like a there he is. Oh, I see you, but I can't hear you. I can't
How about
hear
now?
you. Ah, there he is.
I have no
There
idea
you
what
are.
happened, but
Okay. I thought it was me. I had
No.
so many flawed experience with live streams in the last weeks.
Sorry.
I'm super nervous. As soon as something happens, that it's my fault.
Yeah, I don't know why. My screen went black. Everything stopped. So, or at least my little window went black.
Might actually be the fault of Lightstream. I know you're using StreamYard for your stuff, right?
Yes, and it's had its flaws in the past, so it wouldn't surprise me. It happens. It's live. I apologize.
Yeah. This is actually the first live episode that I'm doing on this channel. So.
Oh, good. Yeah, I think it's funny that you were so worried about your internet connection in the hotel, and I'm the one that went out. So.
Yeah, it gives me warm and fuzzy feelings in a way. So you've been talking about. I saw you was playing around with the Ninja Turtle figures, like I think like life unboxing or even.
Yeah,
it's the NECA ones, like.
Well, I did get one of the NECA ones for sure. I got one of the NECAs, but the one that I've got recently was DC Collectibles, the Batman and the Ninja Turtles from the Batman versus Ninja Turtles. Those are freaking awesome. Those are some great figures for real.
Yeah, I can, especially the NECA turtles. I'm after also, but yeah, didn't have a chance so far. You said that you started the whole YouTube thing after the hurricane cost you your job.
That's right.
Unfortunately, have you started collecting at that point, or have you been collecting before that?
I've always collected something. Whether it was comic books or the random figure here and there, I've always been a collector of something. I mean, back I didn't collect toys in the 80s. I just played with them like every other kid, but I collected a lot of comic books and stuff in the 90s. And then the random, like when the McFarlane toy line came out for Spawn, I thought that was amazing. So I got a few of those. But yeah, I always watched reviews on YouTube of toys, even if I didn't buy any, and just because they always fascinated me and reminded me of being a kid. But then after watching a few other folks, they're going to get on me in chat for name dropping again. But after watching folks like, of course your MGOs and all those guys, but I started watching like Deluxe Baldwin, name drop. Watch the chat; they'll say it.
Just drop these names. Deluxe was my first guest here, so he's in the mix already.
Rodimus Primal is a big one. I love watching his videos because he just puts so much effort into telling people about things.
Yes,
learning. He's like the Transformers Wikipedia. that I go to for information. But just watching guys like that, and I was sitting on the couch after that, kind of bummed about the whole job losing thing. And it wasn't a real serious job. It was just making ends meet. I was doing it kind of for fun. I sold moonshine, believe it or not, at a
All right.
but legally. But once that shut down, I was like, man, what am I going to do? I could go do retail again. I did that for years. But what am I going to do right now? Like to keep busy right now, because I live in a pretty touristy area. And in the wintertime here, it's almost impossible to find a job because no one's hiring because there's no tourists.
Yes. Okay.
So I said, well, I'm going to do something for me. I'm going to do something fun and free, basically free. So figures that I already had, I started reviewing. The Siege line had just come out or was just coming out. And I was like, man, these look great. That's a great jumping on point. And then everything went haywire. So then I just started getting really into the community and collecting whatever I could and talking to folks. My first review, I think, was of the airstrike patrol for Siege. The
yes.
small
Okay.
purple,
The small
jet.
ones. The
Yeah.
Micromasters.
And I watched that the other day, and there's some really hideously done videos early on. And I've only been doing it for 9 months, so it's still early on, but those were really bad.
So I think we actually started around the same time. I
Oh,
think.
yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah,
9 months. 9
right
months.
at 9 months.
Yeah, could actually be. Could actually be. But I mean, just let's talk a minute about your channel. I think there's two things that I recognized about your channel. The first thing is your awesome setup. I love the screen, the screen in the background. It looks so super crisp. I really dig it. I really do.
Yeah.
And the second is you really have a variety of shows or show formats. You have a lot of ideas. Like you already mentioned some stuff. Like you do the presents thing, which is kind of similar to what we are doing right now.
Sure.
You have the timeout that is just your format to get out of the Transformers franchise for a moment, which is I think is a nice idea, especially the title I think is fitting. And the mail calls where you just open. There's so many stuff. Like anything else in the pipeline right now? you're thinking about?
Yeah, believe it or not. Yeah, the mail call. It's pretty much my fascination with having to title anything to give something a purpose, whether there is one or not. But the timeout started as an idea of getting sent to timeout as a kid. Not that I got sent to timeout. I got my butt whooped. But
Yeah.
like taking all your toys away, what do you talk about? What do you do once you take your toys away? So we get away from that and talk about something else. Presents, you talked about, where it's like this animation conversation with Rudy. Punch Counter Punch, I do with Sardo Noomspa 82. Yeah, we just talk about it. That was set up to be some sort of debate format, to where I would take one stand and he would take another. It never works out that way. We agree almost on everything. So
I just had the same conversation with Tim like half an hour ago. we agree way too often.
Yeah, we're similar fans, so but that's the point of that. And then yeah, I mean there's some other stuff I've talked to some other guys about doing, maybe not on my channel but on theirs. And yeah, I mean apparently I'm going to do this. Sardo Noomspa got this habit to eat somewhat gross things, and I've been if you haven't seen that yet, he ate zombie Skittles, I think it was. And
you mentioned something about the Skittle video where you literally pissed your pants up with laughing.
Yeah, I really did. I almost did piss my pants, but no, it was really funny, and he challenged myself and Larkin's Lair to do it. So apparently I'm going to do that. I'm not looking forward to that. And yeah, there's another show I've been talking to. I don't know if I'm gonna let the cat out of the bag yet, but I've been talking to another reviewer about doing a show on his channel eventually. I'll do anything, man. It's just, see, what I do now, I'm at home most of the time, right? And then I travel for maybe a week or 2 weeks at a time. So in the meantime, I'm bored and I have kids and a computer, and I just want to talk to folks. So if I can find an excuse to do that, I'll do it.
That's cool. That's cool. I mean, this is the best way to stay connected. And I think I was really worried when they were phasing out Google Hangouts. I was like, oh, please don't let this whole the chat formats die, because this is one of the things that I enjoy the most.
Yeah,
just
me too.
listening to people talking, maybe being part of it via the live chat if possible. And I have the problem that we are just like having fucked up time zones, and usually when people from the States go like live, it's 3 a.m. in the morning, so not a good time to watch videos from me.
That's a struggle here too, because we can be anywhere from, I mean, at minimum from, I'm on the East Coast, folks on the West Coast are 3 hours away. Larkin's layer is like, I don't know, 6 hours because he's in Hawaii. And then a lot of guys, you know, I deal with, you know, I talk to Rudy and a lot of the guys in the UK that are 5 or 6 hours away, like yourself. So luckily, I have a little more freedom to, you know, to be available at weird times.
Yeah, true.
So
true. If there has to be, at least there's one upside to the whole job loading thing, because you have like more time frames where you can be active.
That's right. If anyone needs me on their channel, just call. I'm up. I'm here. So I'm available.
So you heard the man. If you need Kato on your channel, just give him a call.
That's right.
Very, very nice. Talking about collecting once more is one question that I'm actually almost most curious about the answer is if somebody comes to your house and sees your collection and thinks like, collecting is a cool thing, I would like to start collecting too. What is the first tip, the first hint you would give somebody before he buys his first piece, what to think about when starting a collection?
Make it something you love. I think that's the number one thing. Like, don't.
Nice.
I mean, I wouldn't tell anybody not to collect anything. So collect for whatever reason you want. But my advice would be, don't do it because definitely don't do it because you think you're going to make money at it. Definitely don't do it for that. But find something you love. Like if it's My Little Pony, then make a My Little Pony channel. I don't care. Just do. YouTube has given me, and I think others, a way to do what I did as a kid, and that is take something I love, whether it's a collection or a hobby or anything, and share it with folks. Like,
yes,
to me, doing a Transformers review, sure, I guess it's advice on if it's worth buying or not, but at the end of the day, that's up to you too, right? I'm not going to tell you not to buy it, but it gives me the chance to say, talk to a friend like you or whoever's watching and say, look at what I bought, check it out, let me see what you bought. And it's no different than when you were a kid taking a new toy over to a friend's house and saying, hey,
yes,
this is what
yes,
I got.
great,
this is what
great.
I got. You know, that's all I want to do is say, hey, look at this cool thing, or see some other cool thing that somebody else got and say, oh man, I've got to find that. That's awesome. I want to get that too. Or, you know, so my reviews are, sure, they're reviews, but at the same time, it's really just taking something that I like and showing other people and letting them figure out if it's something they like too.
You really brought up just the comparison of taking your new toy to your friend and just showing off a little, but also comparing and just sharing the joy. That's awesome, man. I never saw it that way, actually. I mean, I do the same, but I never saw it that way. That's pretty nice. We got a question from the chat. It was all in my mind, and we will take it. I think it's a pretty good time now, with the new kids rules coming up in January 2020. What do you think will this mean for your own channel, for the review community, toy community in general? What do you think?
I'll be honest with you, I don't know anything about them, and I don't know that I care. You know, I think I'm going to do what I like to do anyway, whether I get one more subscriber or 1,000 more subscribers. So if they throw some rules in there or something that I can't abide by, I guess I'll find another way to do it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the changes are. I read the question too. No chats and no comments. I don't know. I'll still do what I
So
do.
I saw Cheffatron's video on it, and I then just did a little research because I was starting to get a bit worried.
Mhm.
And I think basically it's that that YouTube will will take all videos that are somehow directed at kids, and this might also include like toy review videos.
Right.
Although I think we can both agree that most of the stuff that we take a look at are adult collector items and not basically toys, or at least the videos that we do are not made for kids.
Right. Correct.
Yes, but the big question is if YouTube can make a difference there, and I don't think that they will be able to. And they will try. They will not ban the videos. They will just like make people unable to comment on these videos. You cannot like or dislike the videos. I mean, you cannot monetize the videos, like put ads on it and everything, which basically does not bother me because I'm way too small to even think
right.
about
Me
making
too.
money out of YouTube. So that thing is out of the window for me. It's not for Cheffatron. It's a big deal. Like he's
Yeah, that's right. I mean, right now for me, it's not even on my radar, right? Because
yes.
if I look at the stats on my channel, literally every single person that watches any of my videos that is enough for a stat is male, age 35 to 40.
Yeah.
So nobody, no kid, as far as I know, that is measurable has watched my channel. So I'm thinking they'll probably, and this is just a guess because I just found out about it, but maybe they'll take that into account, right? Like they could take the stats of who's watching your channel, right? And for me, that might not matter, but for somebody like Cheffatron or MGO or the guys that have thousands and thousands of subscribers, it might matter because their stats are probably a little different.
Yep. Yep. I mean, I'm a little worried because I like the reason why I keep going with the YouTube channel is I'm not interested in making money with this, because even if I ever scratched that mark where I might get some money out of it, it would still not be enough to really keep me. Like, I will not do this for a living. Never. And
Yeah.
but what would really what worries me is that they take the community aspect out of it. Like,
Yes.
I enjoy the comments. I love answering to comments. I love just getting feedback on videos, seeing the people actually get something out of my stuff. And if they take that away from me, it really will hit my motivation hard.
Yeah, they'll have to figure something out because YouTube was all. I mean, it would change the face of YouTube overall. Like it would change the entire YouTube
Yes.
dynamic because it was made to comment and share and the like. So to do that completely changes the face of what YouTube ever was. It would be like
Yes.
taking the ability to not comment on any Facebook pictures. You know, I'm not on Facebook, but it ruins exactly what it was built to do.
I mean, the general idea behind is that they are trying to. Right now, they are basically collecting kids' data, like kids' habits on YouTube and everything, and just like, and it's actually not allowed because children are under special protection of the law, and it's all fine with me. I have a 4-year-old son, so I can somehow understand that and relate to it. But I think they really should like take a closer look at what they actually are taking out of YouTube, maybe, because
That's right.
what we are doing is not kids content, definitely not.
No,
But let's
no,
change to like maybe, or do you have something else to say on this topic? I just wanted to give something more happy to talk about.
yeah. Let's get happy. Come on, get
Let's get happy. Let's get nerdy. Let's get a little more into Transformers. Like, do you know Star Trek?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Of course you
Big
know.
Star
I
Trek
think.
fan. Yes.
Thank you, because
Yeah.
this is a question that I'll ask all of my guests, but most of my guests are not that deep into Star Trek, so they may be a little irritated by the general approach. Have you watched Star Trek Discovery?
Yes.
Did you like it?
Yes, actually, I didn't think I would.
Same.
I didn't think I would. I went. Actually, I didn't watch it until I went to Germany because it's not available. It's on Netflix, and I don't know if anyone knows, but it's on in Europe. It's on Netflix.
Yes.
In the States, it's on ABC channel, whatever their paid service is. But so I watched it when I was visiting over there, and there was nothing else on, and I was not excited about watching it, but I was like, I'll give it a shot. And I saw the first episode, and I was like, man, this is huge. It is not. They did not spare any expense on this show.
Definitely not. No.
And then I got into it, and I couldn't stop. And it's become one of my favorite recent Star Trek series. I think, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
I agree. The reason why I bring up Discovery is they took the character of Christopher Pike, like
Mhm.
somebody who is like he's an important character, yes, but he had like no background whatsoever in the classic Trek series.
Yeah,
And
he
they
was a name.
Yes, he was a name. He was the first captain of the Enterprise, and that was basically it. And later
Right.
he got crippled. So that's it. But they took this character, they gave him decent screen time to just show what his character is like. They gave him a decent background story, and they absolutely masterfully linked it to the classic content.
Yes.
And the reason why I asked this, yeah,
And they cast him perfectly.
yes, Anson Mount is.
Anson Mount was great.
I first saw Anson Mount in Hell on Wheels. Have you watched Hell on Wheels?
Yes, love that show too.
Yeah, great show. And I was watching an episode of Discovery, and I just got my wife into the room because I watched Hell on Wheels with her, and I showed her Christopher Pike, and I was like, you will never guess who this is. And when I tell her that it's Anson Mount from Hell on Wheels, she just couldn't believe it. So the cast is great.
Yeah, yes.
So the thing is, they took a character that was basically pretty flat, gave it a great background story, and to me, it became one of my favorite Star Trek characters ever.
Yep. Yeah.
So the question is there any Transformers character that you think has the same potential of, if they give him more background story, just a little more flesh to the bone, that he could really get from like out of the shadows to a fan favorite?
Wow. And there may be folks out there that read the IDW comics that say this has already happened, right? So forgive me, I didn't read a lot of the IDW comics, but I'm a big Sunstreaker fan. I really love Sunstreaker. So I think he would make a fun character to do that with, to bring from he was just another wise guy, not really a wise guy. He was egotistical, Lamborghini, he was that guy.
Yes.
But I think they could do something with him. I think that would be fun. And there's not a lot of anything to go on that. They could do whatever they want with him. Again, maybe the IDW comics have done something with him. I don't know, but that would be my choice.
I can only say IDW has, and what they made out of Sunstreaker is absolutely amazing. Absolutely.
Now I want to look it up.
So if you ever have, I will not spoil you at this point. So if you ever have the chance to look up the infiltration storyline, just give it a go. It's shocking. It's horrifying even, and they got something out of the character that I would never expected. And IDW does this all the time. I'm a big IDW fan. So
sure. That's what I liked about comics. And again, I used to read the old before IDW. It was Dreamwave. I read some of the Dreamwave stuff early on. I love that, but for some reason, when the IDW stuff rolled around, I just wasn't reading comics. And right. I will do that. I will go look that up, and I will change that. So that's good to know that it's already happened. That's an easy wish to make.
But still a great choice, and the cat is back. I dig it. It's just like, it's something special. The one more thing about your channel. I don't watch all your review. If I can watch all the YouTube content that I've subscribed to, I just would like basically be on YouTube all the time, but whenever I got the chance, I do. And you do something in your reviews. I don't know if you do this all the time, but you don't show transformations,
Right. I
but you
don't.
do
I don't show transformations.
you do something. The first time I saw it, it was like, this is genius. It was just like having the I think I saw it in the reflector video first, like
Oh
having
yeah.
the robot standing on the table, flipping it over, and as soon as it hits the ground, it's transformed.
Yeah.
It's
It's
gorgeous.
super lazy, and
It's
it's
gorgeous.
yeah. It was fun.
Yeah, it is. So
I was.
you came up with,
I might have lost you for a second.
yeah. Okay, you did not miss anything.
Okay.
Just ask if this was your idea, just to flip them around and create a transform. And why do you do no transformations? This is actually
Well, I always joke about I'm from the South, so everything I do takes a little longer. We talk a little slower, we drive a little slower. Everything's a little more laid back down here in the South State, and I tend to my videos would be way too long if I did transformations.
all right.
I did it, and then they were really long, and then I tried separating them to where I would do a review and then a separate transformation video. And honestly, it just wasn't fun, so I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do two separate ones. And just recently, really only I think I've only done it a few times. Is I thought about doing that. I was like, what if I just cut? Just knock it over and cut to it's transformed, and it kind of worked. The other half of the reflector video was a complete failure. I should have edited it better, but when he transformed into the cube drops down and you completely see it's horrible. But it works better on cars. I definitely didn't do it for Omega Supreme.
Oh, I would actually be afraid just to.
Yeah, my table wouldn't handle it. But yeah, I think it's fun. It's just a quick little way to transition without and make it a little different. I don't know. I liked doing it, so we'll see if it keeps happening.
Well, I enjoyed the hell out of it, so I think it was a great idea. Especially if you say I don't do transformations, which I can respect. I also did took the transformations out of my videos and did a separate video because it was too long, and I myself usually skip through the transformation process when I watch a review because except for when I'm actually looking for the transformation.
Right.
Because I'm not really interested in how this figure transforms. This is what I want to figure out myself. But I want to see how the figure looks in both modes and all of that. So
Sure.
it's basically feeding my sensitivities.
Yeah, I get that. And I'm the same way. I just, like I said, if I'm not having fun doing something, I don't want to do it. And I wasn't having fun filming separate transformation videos. So
Yes.
just me.
Yeah. I know you're. I think to know you're not on Facebook. Like
I am not. No.
you're on Instagram, and
I am.
I put all to those who want. I put all the links in the description of this video,
Oh,
so you'll
thank you.
find everything there. And still, I would like to think or like to know of you. The general toxicity in the community is always a topic for people. Like a lot of people just like complaining everything. And how much do you see or hear out of the community, and what do you think makes a healthy community concerning the fandom or concerning collecting?
I don't really deal with a lot of toxicity. I think maybe because I just don't go into the communities that do that. I don't go into a lot of forums, so I avoid a lot of that. And I'm not on Facebook, so I obviously avoid that. And I think Instagram kind of lets you pick and choose your audience a little better. I don't know. I can't explain it, but it feels a little more easy to control, I guess. And it's not as random. But no, I don't really get any toxicity. Any of the all of my time with the fandom has been on YouTube and Instagram, and it's been great. So I don't have a lot of negative feedback on that. I'm sure it's out there, but I just tend to avoid it.
Interesting fact. So this might lead to the conclusion that a lot of the toxicity is not stemming from the fandom itself, but maybe of Facebook as a platform, or the way people are used to use that platform.
Yeah, I think it's easy, and I say this as someone who I'm off Facebook for the reason of I was becoming what I hated on Facebook. So it took a little bit of self-reflection and go, hold up, I'm doing exactly what, and it wasn't, it was about politics of all things. And because it's easy, right? It's easy to get people riled up.
Yes.
And I was like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to fall into that because the I'm right, you're wrong, and there's no other way around it aspect. And so I just said, I'll just cut it out and I won't be around it because I don't trust myself enough not to become that, because I'm no different than anybody else. I'm not unique. I'm not special. I'll get pissed off and I'll start ranting just like anyone else does. And the only way to avoid that is to avoid it. And so if I feel like it's going to turn me into something that I don't like, cutting it out. I don't want it.
Very healthy attitude. I tip my hat to that. I can respect it. And I think it takes, in the times that we live in, it actually takes some courage just to, like, I mean, these platforms are like everywhere, and everybody maybe even expects you to be there, and just to have the self-reflection to say that that you may be not able to control yourself on that platform.
Yeah,
it's like it's great, man.
Well,
Great.
it's hard when somebody tells you something, whatever it is, right? What if it's about Transformers or anything else? If somebody tells you something that you vehemently disagree with, right? Luckily, I come from a time before all that where minding your own business was a big deal. You know, you mind your own business, especially, and I say especially in the southern states. But for all I know, it could be anywhere. I've only lived in the South. But my parents were all about mind your own business. It's none of your business. So when someone puts their business out there, their opinion out there, it's like somehow we feel obligated to say, oh, I don't have to mind my own business anymore because they put it out there. I can tell them what I think. And then you get back and forth in this thing with people you'll never meet, who likely, if you had ever met on the street, you likely would have become friends with, because you wouldn't have talked about this nonsense. So it just fuels this weird hatred that for things and people that you'll never know. And 20 years ago, the only people that knew my opinion were the people that were within arm's reach, right? So those are the people who are going to know it now. I mean, that's it. And that's just my opinion.
Yeah, but I think I haven't talked about to somebody quite a while who has such a strong opinion about this and has the courage to just keep out of it. I respect that.
Well, it's because like I said, it's because I can't trust myself not to if I start.
Yeah, even that, most people are not able to self-reflect on themselves like that, like to just like give into it and just see what happens. Yeah. I mean, I was off Facebook like for like almost a year, because I just wanted to see if I can live without it, and I can. That's the good part. I can, and then just return for promoting my band, for promoting my channel. Because it's a pretty powerful tool to do so, but but I automatically got dragged back into it. So, and sometimes
it's an addiction. Like there's a genuine desire. Like you get a euphoric rush from disagreeing with people. It's fun to do, and the more you do it, it's like a drug. And so my girlfriend and I just decided to say we're going to mind our own business, and the only business that's going to be out there is what I put out there. And right now it's toys and Transformers, and I refuse to talk politics. I get along with every single person that I've met on YouTube, and I have no idea who they voted for.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter to the thing that you are talking about with these people.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's exactly right.
I'm 100% agreeing with this. You said it yourself. You do like toys, Transformers, and you had just recently an episode on music that I actually enjoyed pretty much. You had Larkin Slayer, who's in the chat.
That's right. Hey, Larkin.
You had Deluxe coming in a little bit later. As soon as he came in, you just like took the party and just like it was all over. You had a hair metal was your basic topic, like
Yes.
80s music and with a little focus on hair metal. And I know it already because I watched the episode, but maybe some of my audience did not. So I'm a music guy completely. I love music and it's a big part of my life. And it's actually nice. But it's interesting that I find a lot of collectors who are also very, very connected to music.
Sure.
Although the types vary, of course, and the genres vary. So, what are your favorite genres, and what is your connection to music?
My favorite genres, I love country music, and I love 80s hair bands. I always have, always will. I like a lot of stuff. I mean, I'll listen. I grew up listening to like 50s doo-wop and stuff like that with my mom, and beach music and stuff like that. But so I go everywhere from jazz to heavy metal. But if I go in my car right now and turn the radio on or turn on Pandora, it's going to be an 80s hair band channel or country music and possibly some 90s alternative music mixed in there. But the connection to it, I think, is not that different than the connection I get when I buy a new or see an old Transformer, right? There are memories connected to music, and there are memories connected to these things I collect. And I can hear a song or I can see a toy, and I'm immediately taken to a car or a place or a store or a Christmas or something
Yes.
that just wraps it all together. And I don't think there's that much of a difference between the feeling I get when I hear a song that I remember or see a toy that I remember. It's the same thing that brings me back to being a kid. And yeah, that's it. And 80s metal was just fun. It was so stupid and fun and epic guitarist. How can you like Transformers and not appreciate hair bands when some of the
Yes.
greatest songs tied to Transformers, Stan Bush and hairband era, it all goes together.
Yeah, and it's I think
80s cartoons had the best hairband metal riffs of anything out there. So
absolutely the general rock music in 80s cartoons is absolutely legendary. And I think this is somehow maybe I got prepared as a kid for the music that I like today because I had so many rock tunes in cartoons, like the Mask theme. I know you like Mask as well. You
right.
actually brought me back into it. Thanks again for it.
Sorry.
It completely escalated, dude. Like you showed me the Gator, and I was like, yeah, it's a cool idea to buy Mask again. And I was like, I myself set myself a limit, like maybe $50 a month.
Yeah, and
I blew my yearly budget like in the first 2 months.
$50 a month on Mask.
Yeah,
as expensive as some of those products get, that's not easy. Those things I've looked up,
yes.
and it's going to be something that I get when I stumble on it.
Yeah, but what I do, I usually try to find some of these junker collections, like people just selling all the stuff that they have left. And I buy all this stuff together and try to build a good version of a car or a set or whatever back together, and it works out pretty well.
Yeah.
But once you get in, the first piece is always the most dangerous. Is there any franchise or toy line that you are actually interested in, but you're not daring to buy the first piece because you are afraid of being sucked into it?
Yeah, I mean, I had to give up Marvel Legends for Transformers. I decided I wouldn't do both because I have quite a bit of Marvel Legends collection because I love those figures.
Yes.
And well, yeah, like the new Thundercats line from Super 7. I know if I order one, I'm going to want them all. And so because Thundercats to me were another big part of my childhood. I love that show. So my danger will be if Super 7 does Silverhawks, I'm screwed. I'm screwed. But yeah, I won't order one of those because I know I'll want all of them. GoBots, if I dig too heavy into GoBots, I know I won't crawl out of that hole either. So that's another one that I pick up here and there when I see one somewhere. Yeah, Marvel Legends. If I start collecting Marvel Legends again, it's over. Like I'll get in deep again. So they're pretty great figures. And although I don't have a connection to the Power Rangers that much, the Hasbro line of Power Rangers I think are some great looking figures. And
Yes.
I think I would
Yes.
end up with those. I don't have that a huge connection with them, even though I did watch some because again, it was everything that I loved about being a kid, giant robots and ninjas. So um,
That's basically the whole plot summed
yeah,
up in one sentence. Yeah,
it's
but they
all
had like
the
the
campiness of Godzilla with giant robots and ninjas. I loved it.
yeah.
So I know I would get sucked into that for sure.
They have like the pictures of the Goldar, I think, is it like the Goldar figure that Hasbro put out? It really looks cool. It looks cool, but it also reminds me of how cheesy some of these characters looked. Like the blue guy, I always forget the name of that blue guy.
Uh,
You know who I mean, do you? Like
the blue guy, the blue guy, the blue guy, the blue guy. Did he the one? Not the one that I don't know.
he looks a little. People were when X-Men Apocalypse came out. People were joking about that the Apocalypse looks like the love child of Mr. Freeze and that
Zed?
particular blue guy that I
No.
forgot the name of.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Let's
Yeah.
see. No, I can't think. I know that they were saying Lord Zed and Apocalypse looked alike.
Something with Ooze, Mr.
Oh yeah, that guy. That's who I'm thinking
Ivan
of. Not Lord
Ooze.
Zed. Ivan
Ivan
Ooze.
Ooze.
Yes,
Shit.
not Lord Zed. Good Lord.
Why? Oh,
I wasn't thinking of the movie.
Why is my head full of that stuff? Like it's
Ivan
always
Ooze.
somewhere down there. It's
That's it.
always somewhere down there. Ivan Ooze, yeah.
Yeah.
The chat.
I was
The
thinking
chat
Lord
just
Zed,
confirmed.
but I was seeing Ivan Ooze. Yep.
It's awesome. Just a few more questions. I think that I don't want these videos to get too long. Just with people to get to know you a little better. I think we got a pretty good impression so far. And you already mentioned that you've been to Germany before.
Yes.
In the pre-hangout session that we had. Are there any special connections to Germany that you have?
No, I have a friend that lives there, and I got the chance to visit him. And as far as special connections, man, it's beautiful. It was a beautiful, beautiful country. And well, I guess I did go to. Let's see, I went to Poland. It's not really the same thing, but yeah, I went to Germany last year. Got the chance to see some just beautiful mountains and real mountains. See, here in the South, we have the Appalachian Mountains,
Yeah.
which equate to like molehills to most of the world. They're all green and pretty, and they're just snow capped about this much at the top. And then you go over there and you see mountains, or even on the West Coast here, but especially there, you go there and you're just like, I can't even see high enough to. It was beautiful. I loved it. So beautiful country, and hopefully I get a chance to go back. I would take
If you do, just drop me a line. Maybe we can make a personal meeting happen in
Oh yeah, that would
any
be
way,
really
shape, or form. I would really enjoy it. So yeah, I think we're somewhat finished. All I can say is thank you very much for being on. It was a great pleasure for me. Thank you to everybody in the chat. We had a pretty vital live chat. I couldn't really pay attention because it was like we've been talking all the time. So if I missed any question, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I will
no.
try to.
I love it.
And yes, just tell the people where to find you.
You can find me on Instagram at Kato's Toy Box Reviews and on YouTube at Kato's Toy Box Reviews. That's it. That's where you can find me. On the other side of this screen, a few times a week. That's it. I'm easy to find. I'm always trying to talk to somebody about something.
Nice. So everybody, just if you haven't done already, drop Kato a subscription on YouTube and on Instagram, and it's absolutely worth it. So trust me on that matter. And yeah, thank you very much for being on, and have a nice evening.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate you, and I love spreading this love across the world. Right? It can be global.
I think so. So goodbye, everyone.